my sort of view on pricing is twofold. Is the first bit is pricing psychology. So pricing psychology there's heaps of study on pricing psychology, and some of it's just basic stuff, right? Like left-hand rule, like the left-hand number is the most prominent number, right? So there's no point in charging $62 for something.
No.
It may as well just be 65 or 69 or drop it back down to 59.
59.
So there's that simple basic stuff. But then there's also people get stuck in this, your model, which is cost plus.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost plus model is like what a lot of, so in hospitality, because that's my whole career, right? Like most of my career is hospitality. If you go to like a 4-star or below hotel, or like even in the same breadth restaurants, they don't really have star ratings, but like you kind of know if it's a high-end restaurant or like mid-range and below.
Yeah.
Mid-range and below often work on a cost plus basis. And there's, in that mid-range or in that cost plus model, everyone who isn't the cheapest actually lose and they struggle. And the reason why is because it's cheapest doing it purely based on volume. They're going wide market volume play. So think supermarkets.
Yeah.
So
that's where I went to, cleaning products in the supermarket, right?
Yeah.
How can you sell a bottle of dishwashing detergent for $3-4 and be making so much money? You need your volume.
Yeah. And the issue is that, and so before I get into the issue, so that's the one way they win and all the ones in the middle lose. And then at the high end, they all kill because they can do low volume, massive margins.
Yeah.
We're talking like 5,000% markups and stuff. No, more than that, 100,000% markups, like on top of their products. The guys always in the mid range always tend to lose long term.
Yeah.
Because of two things. They don't do enough volume that they just become too big to fail, or they don't have enough money to do the right marketing to level up to hold that status symbol.
Yeah.
And so they sit in this mid category where you constantly have to iterate to try keep people. And so when you see like plateaus of revenue, you have a real problem there of like going, how do I stay fresh to keep that plateau? Which you already know because you're trying to make other products.
Yeah.
But then now you get into other product lines, which bring more cost lines, which more complexity, which then makes it harder. Then you're like, and then like I don't want to like fucking jump to the future here, but like what happens is like you get to those other product lines and you go, fuck, we're making less profit than we used to because of all the other shit we have to do now.
Yeah.
Fuck, we should just scale back to the simpler life and listen to Chloe and be like, we should just do what we were doing before.
Yeah.
So like there's this like real hard thing when you get into pricing level, like where do I sit? And at scale, it's hard to go mid-market. If you think about Australia, you think about how many mid-market clothing stores are gone.
Yeah.
They all got wiped out.
Yeah.
Especially all the men's mid-market store because men aren't fussy.
Right.
So men are either going, I'm going to get real cheap stuff or I'm going to ball out and get all the cool stuff, right? We don't play in the middle. We're just like cheap crap clothes.
It's interesting that you say that now because I see myself doing that too. Is I'm to my core a cheapskate, but I will splurge. But when I splurge, I buy nice. And I'm not, you're right, I'm not going to mess around with the middle tier there. No. And now that you've said that, I probably would put us closer to the middle, in the middle tier.
I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at your pricing.
Yeah, because when we were selling the products that we imported, we were sending out so many pairs of earrings. And we were still making the same amount that we were now.
Yeah.
But now it feels like less orders needed to go out, less packing. We don't need to hire as many people to help us pack those orders in the busiest seasons. But I would agree. I think we're in that middle tier. I can't see Chloe agreeing to
going higher. No, and I don't know if you need to. It's just like there's other things you have to do. But that's a real interesting thing about that, like low or high. And that, like I'm just using Connor as an example because like I always give him shit about being cheapskate, but actually like him and I both like kind of think the same on stuff, like, and he gives me shit about different things and I give him shit about different stuff, but like I won't spend money on things like a car, or I won't spend money on a thing like a house or stuff like that because there's no value to me.
Right.
But then like we were joking one day in the car because he's like, he always gives me shit, or we always talk about how I give him shit about having cars and I think they're stupid and whatever. But then I was like telling him about this $15,000 coat I wanted to buy. And he was like, what the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding? That's 5 of my cars.
Yeah.
And you're fucking saying my car's too expensive?
It's 15 of my cars. That's how much of a cheapskate I am.
Yeah. And it's dumb because it's what we value. But like a lot of us do that. We don't play in the middle often. We either go like, we value this stuff, so we'll spend the money on it. Or everything else we'll spend here. And like, I'm like that. So on cars, I don't value them at all. So we have, there's a thing here called Mevo, which is like pay by the hour sort of car.
Nice.
And they just park down the street and that's all I use, right? So I just use it as I need it. It's like Uber. It costs the same as Uber, but you drive yourself. But that's how a lot of people think. So they don't often play in the mid-market and they're not at a volume play anyway because like everything's expensive these days. Yeah. So if you play in the mid-market, you're like, I can't have as much here. I either need to play real high or play real low.